Look at the pirate ship. I believe they use that to take tourists on booze cruises. Also, I see that periodically evening. You can take it during the day and the evening. Anything to entertain the tourists here at the private beach at Mactan Newtown. It's a beautiful sunny day in the neighborhood. You do see Olango Island out in the background. Warm and sunny day. Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Tim. Here I am at the Mactan Newtown private beach, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about leasing and renting long-term condos here at Mactan Newtown. I think I spoke to you several times before. I said one of the best places you can look is Facebook Marketplace. That's where I rented my studio, executive studio unit. It is approximately 38 square meters. I do lease it long-term, 6 months lease is what I sign for 30,000 pesos per month. And if you go to Facebook Marketplace, if you're looking for long-term leases, you're going to find a lot of availability. And I just wanted to take you through one or two of these listings that I saw on Facebook. And here it is for long-term rental in Mactan Newtown. OPR, that means One Pacific Residences, 32,000 pesos a month, down from 35,000 pesos a month. And you can see it is a one-bedroom unit, and you can tell it's a one-bedroom unit because it has a closet in it. It has a mini split aircon in it, and the general layout of the room, you can see near the balcony and the windows near the balcony, you can see there's a door over there. That typically means it's going to be a one-bedroom unit. It's probably going to be in that 40 to 42 square meter size. It's going to have 2 mini split air conditioning units. And you can tell a one-bedroom unit at Mactan Newtown by the kitchen. If you see pictures of the kitchen with a long, flat, granite-type countertop, that's going to be a one-bedroom unit. Executive studio units at Mactan Newtown are going to have an L-shaped kitchen. It's going to be smaller in size than executive studio. You're going to feel cramped in an executive studio unit. So this listing is truly a one-bedroom unit. A lot of times you are going to see listings, they're going to call them one-bedroom units, but they're actually going to be executive studio units. Some leasing agents will call executive studios a one-bedroom unit, and that's because they're a little bit larger in size than a normal studio unit. Also, you're going to have a glass panel dividing wall that you can open and close. So that's one of the first things you need to ask when you see a listing on any one of these websites. Is it a one-bedroom or is it executive studio? And a lot of times I will ask and they will insist it's a one-bedroom, but because I know what the pictures look like and what the layout is, I can tell that it's actually an executive studio unit. So that is one of the things you're going to need to ask and learn when you're searching for long-term leases here at Mactan Newtown, is know the difference between the layouts between one-bedrooms and studio unit condos. And most of these condos in 8 Newtown Boulevard and 1 Pacific and 1 Manchester, most of them are going to have very similar layouts. And you should be able to tell from the pictures if it's going to be an executive studio or one-bedroom or two-bedroom. Also, Another thing that I do a lot of times is I ask them to send me additional photos. A lot of times on Facebook Marketplace or on some of these other websites, they'll have only 3 or 4 photos or maybe 5, and a lot of them don't really show the unit that well, and sometimes they do that for a reason. So a lot of times I will ask them to send pictures, especially of the balcony. A lot of times if the listing does not have a picture of the balcony, there's usually a reason for that. Maybe the balcony is facing the street, maybe it's not facing the ocean, maybe the balcony view is not that attractive. So in a lot of cases, you will see these listings without a balcony picture. So when I was in the West, I would ask these agents to send me balcony pictures. Sometimes they come up with an excuse saying, well, I don't have the key, I'll send you the picture next week. And next week comes along, they won't send it. Sometimes they will send them right away. Sometimes they have those pictures on their phone and they will send it immediately. And you're gonna have to gauge what is going on. Is this the right agent for you? Is this the right condo for you? And I mentioned in other videos many times that having a sea view is optimal. If you have a different view, a lot of times you're going to be having a Newtown Boulevard view. You most likely will see other buildings off of your balcony. Sometimes they're going to say it is an ocean view, but it's a partial ocean view. They a lot of times won't tell you if it's a partial or full ocean view. That's another question you should ask if you're really interested in having an ocean view. The other thing you can ask is, what direction does the balcony face? A lot of times they're not going to know. And then if they don't know, ask them, what view does it have? Does it have an Olango Island view? Does it have a city view of Cebu? If it has a view of Cebu, it's a west-facing lanai. You can expect to have a lot of sun in most of the day and the afternoon. And if that's the case, you can expect your electric costs to be higher. And it does matter what direction your balcony faces, because these condo units here at Mactan Newtown have floor-to-ceiling doors and windows in most areas. And if those windows are facing west or south, you can expect to get a lot of sunlight in those units. And with the electricity cost here in the Philippines at over $200 per kilowatt hour, compared to around $120, $130 per kilowatt hour, your electric cost could be quite a bit higher if your lanai is facing west or south. I recently took a tour of a condo unit. It was on the penthouse floor. It was located over at Movenpick. It was a gorgeous unit. The lease was a long-term lease, and the lease was very low. I think it was a 2-bedroom unit. It was like 40,000 pesos a month. And I wondered why that lease is so low. So when I went over to view it, this was 6 or 8 months ago, it was an awesome condo. But most of the windows, it was all glass windows facing to the west and to the south. When I got into that condo unit, it was warm. It was a mid-afternoon showing. It was super warm in that condo unit. I think they had 3 or 4 mini split air conditioning units. And I think if I would have leased that condo, it would have cost a lot of money to cool that condo down. So be aware of the electricity costs. And that is one of the reasons that I'm warning my subscribers and advising my subscribers, look at condo units with mini split air cons. They generally use less electricity than a window type air conditioning unit. If you're one of those Westerners like me that likes to run their air conditioner pretty much 24/7, the balcony direction will matter. And if you do have a west or south facing balcony, you most likely will want to keep your curtains pulled most of the day. But that defeats the purpose of having a balcony and a balcony view. If you can't look out the window at the ocean view, then why have a balcony at all? So that's why I'm recommending look at east-facing balconies or a north-facing balcony you can find them. The condo that I'm in, I do videos every day from my balcony. It's a north-facing balcony. It's awesome. It faces up the Mactan Peninsula. My electricity cost this last month was about 5,000 pesos. I have 2 mini split air cons that I run 24/7 in the living room and about 16 hours a day, 7 days a week in the bedroom area. I do have an executive studio unit. It does have glass panel dividing wall, but don't confuse that with a 1-bedroom unit. A 1-bedroom unit will have a hinged door on it. It will have a larger kitchen. It will not be an L-shaped kitchen. So when you're looking through these listings on Facebook or any other website, take note of the picture. If the listing lists it as a 1-bedroom, but the pictures show an executive studio, ask a question. Are you sure this is not a studio unit? A lot of times when I ask that question, the agent will say, oh, it's a 1-bedroom, it's a 1-bedroom. And then what I usually ask in that case, does it have a sliding glass dividing wall? And then they'll say yes. And then you know it's actually an executive studio unit. So you don't want to pay a lease fee for an executive studio unit that normally would be charged for a 1-bedroom unit with a hinged door, with a little more square footage, with a little bit larger kitchen area. And just so you know, the construction quality between a 1-bedroom and executive studio are the same. They look very similar. They have the same floor tiles. They have the same kitchen countertop. It is granite. It's the layout that is different. So keep in mind that information. Also, when you're looking at a long-term lease, ask about the condo association dues. In most cases, they will be included in the lease. But on rare occasion, you will see a listing that will indicate that the tenant will have to pay the association dues separately. That's very rare. In most cases, it is included in the lease. It usually runs about 5,000 pesos a month, and I believe that the condo association is charging somewhere around 120 pesos per square foot. So the association dues are going to be higher for a 1-bedroom than it is for an executive studio. It's going to be higher for a 2-bedroom than a 1-bedroom, and so on and so forth. But in most long-term leases, you need to ask, are those association dues included in the lease payment? Because if it's not, you can expect to pay between 5,000 and 6,000 pesos additional per month. The other thing you need to ask about is electricity. Electricity costs can vary quite a bit from condo unit to condo unit depending on your usage, the direction of the balcony. I think one good practice is to ask the agent if you can see the last 6 months electric bill. A lot of times if you ask the agent what is the approximate electricity cost per month, and that is a good question to ask, and I do recommend that you do ask that, because besides the lease payment, your second most expensive bill is going to be your electric bill. Ask what the average is, and don't take their word for it. Ask to see the last 6 months electric bill. They do have itemized and detailed electric bills that they can produce. My agent sends me a PDF copy of my utility bill every month so I can pay the electric bill right to her. So there should be no reason that they shouldn't be able to produce the last 6 months electric bill, as well as the water bill. The water bills do tend to fluctuate monthly here. Mine fluctuates between 800 pesos and 1,500 pesos every month. I think I use roughly the same amount of water each month, but for whatever reason, the electric bill does fluctuate. Ask your leasing agent if they can produce the last 6 months water bill and get an average. You should have an average water bill between 800 and 1,500 pesos each and every month, depending on the size of the unit and how much water you use. They do have water meters. They do read the meters each month, as well as the electric meter. They do have electric meters for each individual condo unit. and they read that each month, and you can see the usage on the detailed itemized bill that your leasing agent will send to you, which is another thing I should bring up. Some leasing agents will not send you the detailed itemized bills each month to pay from. They will just send you a number. This is your electric cost. It's 6,250 pesos this month, and they will not attach the detail. I recommend that you ask those agents to send you the detail for each one of those bills, including the water bill, and then keep track of your expenses. I'm keeping track by producing monthly budget videos. That's one of the reasons I'm producing it. Kind of forces me to keep track of my utility bills as well as my monthly expenses. So I hope you catch my monthly budget videos, and I should have one coming out next week. That is your video for today. A piece of advice on how to lease long-term units here at Mactan Newtown. I'm sure you can apply a lot of these same principles if you're looking to lease long-term elsewhere in the Philippines or elsewhere in Southeast Asia. It is going to be up to you to do your due diligence. Ask your questions. Get familiar with these units. Know the difference between executive studios, one bedroom. Know the difference in square footage. Know the differences in electricity costs and water costs. Obtain 6 months electric bills and water bills, just so you have peace of mind when you move in the first month, that you're not surprised at the cost of your electric bill. Also, internet. If you are interested in leasing long term, sometimes internet could take a long time to set up. You should ask if the unit already has or had internet installed in the unit. If it did, or if it does, it's going to save you a lot of time. If it does not have internet installed, if it never had it, it could take up to a month to have that installed. So work with your leasing agent. Tell them that you're interested in having high-speed internet. I have Globe at home, and I believe all the units at Mactan Newtown use Globe at home. I believe they have a partnership with Globe. And I think at times it could take up to a month to have it installed. I believe the wires are already in the unit, but sometimes they have to make changes, and sometimes it takes a while to get the hardware, the modem, installed. So if you're interested in long-term rentals at Mactan Newtown, work with your leasing agent. Give them a month or two advance notice. They might require that you put money down to get the modem installed. Sometimes the leasing agent will essentially pay for that, and then you'll reimburse them when you arrive in the Philippines. Sometimes they might ask you up front for that. It does cost some pesos to get that modem installed. So in summary, the major things you need to do is know what kind of condo you're leasing, know the direction of the balcony, know what building you're in, understand your history of your electric bill and water bill, know if that condo had internet installed before. Ask the agent how long is it going to take to get the internet installed in that unit, and then make your decision. There are a lot of units available. As you saw, they seem to be reducing leasing prices here at Mactan Newtown. I think pretty much all over the Philippines, rentals are going down in price. So I wish you the best of luck. That's your video for today. Thanks for liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate it. Feel free to share this video with anyone who feels interested in the content. Have a great day. Take care. Stay safe. Good luck. And what are you waiting for? It's actually fast and easy to lease a long-term condo here in the Philippines.
Hello, thank you for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe.